Good evening. Well, Wally here again. Tonight I'm going to do a little demonstration, a little test on what I'm going to entitle choosing and using an edge finder. I've got a selection of 4 here, starting from the most basic to some new tech, at least new tech to me. The first of these is a simple piece of drill rod that I've used for years, and it's just a 60-degree taper to a good sharp point on there. And if you've got good eyesight, you can get within a couple of thousand or so your edge. Occasionally, if I'm lazy, I'll still use it to find a hole, such as here. I've got a center hole in this block in here, and it's pretty accurate for things that aren't very critical. But that's something that I started using many years ago. And then the next in the bunch is the Mitutoyo edge finder. I've got Mitutoyo because it's good quality, and even Mitutoyo doesn't cost any more than, I don't know, 12, 13 bucks for this. It'll last a long time. And this type is, as you come up on the edge of your workpiece, this bottom here thing will cam out. And what you're looking for is a transition where this thing just cams out, move it back, and just at that very moment that it cams out, that's your edge. And the better you get at catching that transition, the more accurate it'll be. And then the next one is this happens to be a Fowler LED light one. Now this is you got your standard 200 thousandths cylinder here, and this comes up, and I hope you can see this. This comes up on your edge, and as soon as that touches, this won't work on plastic. So it's got to be a aluminum or steel, a brass, something to conduct electricity. But just at the point you touch that, it makes an electrical contact through this, and it turns on this little LED light. These lights around here will light up. Again, it's a transition from just when you back away and the lights go off, and you just make contact and the lights come on. And again, actually it'll depend on how good you call that transition. Now with the Mitutoyo mechanical type, with this one, you can pretty quickly, with some practice, very, very certainly get to within a thousandths. And with practice and stuff, if you got a good eye, you'll get to where you're less than half a tenth, even 2/10,000ths. All right, so then the next one, this is very new tech to me. This is a laser one. Now this shoots a laser beam. You don't want to point this at your eye for sure. They tell you that. But this is a laser. This shoots a laser beam down to your workpiece. On this one, as you come over the edge, that laser, just as soon as that thing paints right on that edge, and then you'll see it paint down the side of the edge. That means you found your edge. Again, there's a transition from where you're just on that edge, but again with practice, you can very easily get to less than a thousandths. With practice, I'm sure you can get to a half a tenth, maybe as low as 2 or 3 thousandths. All right, I'm not gonna demonstrate the Toyo. Well, I guess I will demonstrate that real quick for some of you that maybe haven't used one of these. So I've got a 3/8 collet, and we'll just put that in here. Well, I wanted to show off a new light I got for my mill. I recommend it. I've got it off now. This light is there's 37 LEDs around here. It puts a ring of light right on your workpiece. Now I fear that with that light on, that I'm getting a little bit of overloading the camera, so I'm gonna turn it off. But that is a neat thing. I think it costs about 60 bucks, and it's just a light circle built for a mill. Actually, it was built for Bridgeport, but it'll fit anything up to about a 4-inch round column up in here. Let me turn that back off. Okay, so just tighten this up real quick. You want to make sure that you clean your collet and your spindle for the best accuracy. Now, bring this head down. And like any kind of milling thing that I do, I'm going to lock up all the axes that I'm not using, just so that it may not make any difference for this, but just to make sure that I got as good a reading as possible. All right, so I'm down here where I'm just about right. Okay, now lock that. All right, so I'm going to turn my machine on, and I'll run it up to a couple hundred RPMs. Now this thing's not, it's kind of stuck in there. Okay, now let's just run that thing up. Right now you can see it wiggling some. We'll bring it up there. Now, you see that thing? You'll all of a sudden center. Get up there where you won't see any wobble in it. And just at the point that breaks, see, just that transition point. And the better you get it at hitting that transition point, the more accurate it'll be. That went. Okay. This mechanical edge finder is pretty foolproof. It's fairly rugged, though you don't want to be banging up against your workpiece. You're going to go in gently. And they're a great piece of pretty inexpensive measuring tool. Okay, so now let's get this back up out of the way here. A lot of stuff. Now many of you remember the first time you got into any kind of machine work, that learned to use a micrometer, or learned to use a set of good calipers was a little bit of a chore, because it's not just a matter of reading numbers and stuff, it's holding it right, making sure. So, and this is the same thing. You practice with it a little bit and you get quite good at it. Now I'm going to put in the high-tech stuff here. All right, so out comes that one. And I'm pretty good about keeping these instruments in their packaging. And these things will last a lifetime if you're careful with them. All right. Okay, the second one is the Fowler. It's like I say, it's got a series of LED lights. I'm hoping this will show up on camera. Now this one takes a 1/2 inch color. Now this has got an aluminum body, and this 200,000 collar on here. Remember when you find your edge finders, on both this and the Mitutoyo, these have to be subtracted from your finding the 200,000 collar. I mean, that kind of goes without saying. Anyway, these are aluminum, but it's a real hardened aluminum. It shouldn't be banged around. I think it's very durable. Yeah, put that in the collet. All right, let's get this thing in here. Get it tightened up. All right. All right, then putting this down here to where. Like I say, this one is, when this touches the edge, it makes to the speed of light, it makes electrical contact between your little cylinder down here and that little electric current goes up through your, provides a ground through your mill and stuff to turn these lights on. Now let's see here. I've got to come up and see if these lights will come on here. And you want to be gentle with this because you could conceivably break it if you come slamming up against the part. Okay, you see those lights on there? Let's see. I'm hoping that you can, but anyway, I just touched the edge, and I'll go back and forth a little bit until I find that transition. Okay, just lights on. Lights off. You want to get them just, okay, you want to get them just where they just make that transition of being on. And with practice, like I say, you can get extremely good accuracy with that. And that's how that one works. I won't know until I review this tape if I can actually see those lights, but I suspect I will be able to. All right, now let's get that one out of there. By the way, like I said, Mitutoyo cost you $12-15, the mechanical one. This goes for about $40. It's by Fowler, which Fowler makes some pretty good stuff. And but like I say, it's about $40. The benefit I see over the mechanical is only if you respond to the transition of that light coming on over watching the cylinder kick out on the mechanical one. But I don't think with practice that you'd notice much difference between one and the other. It's just a matter of a person's preference. All right, now, see a little tap here. carefully put this thing back in its box. Let's see. All right. Now we're going to turn this LED one. Now this LED, you've got an adjustable. You can adjust the little dot that laser. You can adjust it bigger or larger. Now, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to make it kind of big so that hopefully you'll be able to see this. All right, this one takes a 3/8 collet. Again, this has got aluminum body, but it's a good hard aluminum, well made. This is by SDA Laser Alignment, SDA out of California. By the way, the Fowler is made in the United States, and this one is too, if that makes a difference to you. It appears to be good quality. I've been practicing with it here for a week or so. Now, get this thing installed. Now this one does not touch the workpiece. And again, I don't see any reason why you couldn't have your machine on it if you want, but I'm not sure that's necessary. Now these you'll calibrate to your setup. Now mine came from factory. They have instructions in there on just how to calibrate it for your spindle and stuff to take care of any run out. It's not very hard. Like I say, mine came from the factory. I think most of them will. Pretty well right on. Most of us, we have spindles on our lathes and mills that probably aren't running out any more than a tenth or two anyway. Now, you turn this thing on by, you'll see it come on here. Turn this thing on here. Yeah, let's see how do we do. Okay, I see my, now I'm going to turn that light up there, get it over here on the surface. I'm going to make that fairly big so you can see it. I hope that shows up. You should see a little red dot there, hopefully. And with this, I think for best results here with this laser is to have very sharp corners. In other words, you don't want to chamfer your work if you're going to use this. Not that you couldn't get accurate readings, it's just that that'll end. I generally don't chamfer. I make sure I'm burr free before I use an edge finder of any kind, but to try to get the best. Just make sure you got a good 90 degree, a good sharp crisp edge there. Now you just run this thing over and you'll see, I'm not sure, pick up the kind, you just get right to the edge and you'll see that thing just kind of disappear over the edge, but at some point you should see it paint down the side. Now, I doubt it. I see a faint red thing here, and I see it down here on the ways of my mill vise. So, and of course I can turn that, I can turn the size of that red dot down to where I can just, I could just barely make it out at all. I imagine when it's turned down like that, it can't be, it must be around a thousandth or so. And again, I think with some practice, you'll find that this can be very accurate. What I like about this is the versatility of it. Like if I want to go over and find this hole, let me turn that dot up bigger again. If I want to go and find this hole that I've got over here, this workpiece, I've already found the center. I put a little mark with a center drill in it, and See, I can bring this over and I can run that dot right in the bottom of that hole, and I can actually see it in the bottom of that hole when I've got it just absolutely centering that thing. It's really a nice, really kind of a nice thing. This one runs about around $110, I think, for this. I wouldn't pay for this if all I did was to use it on the mill. But I'm going to show you here in a minute some really neat stuff that it does on your lathe as well. Now keep in mind that a lot of these things are it's not that they're necessary, it's that they may add a little more convenience. There's always a lot of different ways to do this stuff, and but there's some of these things I think may well be worth the convenience. Okay. All right. All right, I'm going to change cameras here in just a minute, and then we're going to change the camera over and I'll show you some of the things this thing does on the lathe. I'll step back away here. All right, I'm going to change cameras right now. Now I'm going to put this thing in my 3-jaw. I happen to know my 3 jaws runs at about 5/10 thousandths. It's pretty accurate 3-jaw. And I'm going to just pull it out of the back end of this thing. Put a center in it. I hope if I get this up close enough, I can be able to see what I'm doing. Hopefully. I may have to top this thing off here. Now, let's turn this thing. Oop. Turn this thing on here. Okay. I don't know if you can see that red dot that I've got right on the end of this. Let me get this thing in where you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm just going to grab this thing, and you see that red dot right on the end of my center? Now, of course, I can make that red dot much smaller. That's putting a laser right on the end of my center, which facilitates getting you pretty close if you move your tailstock or cutting the tape or whatever, and checking it out. And I think you get pretty accurate with it. With that dot reduced size, which you wouldn't be able to see, I think it gets me down to it's right on the end of that point. It's kind of fascinating the way that works. Okay, now set this back down a minute. It'd be so nice to have a cameraman. Yeah. Oh, let's see here. Okay. Okay, I lined up here. Now what I'm going to do it for the next, and I think it's pretty handy. check this, the set and center height of your tools. Now I'm gonna put this thing in here, just by that laser light. I'm gonna put in my tool. See right there? Now I can tell by looking at this thing that I've got my tool height. So that, of course, like I say, you can adjust the size of that red dot, and it really facilitates checking your tool height, setting your tool height and stuff over time, or whenever you need to. All right, hang on a second here. Well, I want to thank you again, as always. I hope that was informative. I think any one of these tools will do good. And I want you to have all a good evening, and I sure appreciate any comments or suggestions. Good night. We'll talk to you later.